Welcome to the Music News at Noon on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. This is where we look at the latest headlines in music, tech, and what's going on in the industry. We'll be starting the program in just a few moments, but first, some notes about today's program. Feel free to invite your friends to join in this show, and if you'd like to offer your thoughts on any of today's topics, you can request to join the stage and participate in the discussion, or comment in the chat in the video stream. You can find all of today's headlines on our website, musicindustrycity.com. Just head to the latest Music News at Noon post to see all the articles we reference during today's broadcast. You can also register for free to get unlimited access to all the articles, news, and events in the city. And you may also watch us live on the video stream right from the website or on the Music Industry City YouTube channel. All right, is everybody ready? We begin our countdown right now.
Hello and welcome. It's great to have you with us on this Thursday. I'm Peter Schwing, and here's what's happening. Safety task force formed after ASTROWORLD tragedy. German concert tickets to rise by up to 30%. Moneyman and Empire post details of first record label advance in Bitcoin. Instagram is testing a take a break feature, and Spotify launches new charts destination website. Those stories coming up. But first, let's take a look at this day in music history. That's this day in history. We honor those who have passed, those who were born, and some interesting tidbits. In November of 1972, the Allman Brothers Band bass player Berry Oakley was killed when his motorcycle hit a bus 3 blocks away from where former band member Duane Allman had died a year earlier. Oakley was 24 years old. November 2014, Big Bank Hank Henry Lee Jackson from the Sugar Hill Gang died at the age of 58 from kidney complications due to cancer. The Sugar Hill Gang were the first hip-hop act to have a hit with the crossover single Rapper's Delight in the pop charts in 1979. November 2015, Phil Taylor, better known as Filthy Animal Taylor and drummer with the Motorhead, died at the age of 61. He was in the classic Mark IV Motorhead lineup of Lemmy, Taylor, and Fast Eddie Clarke. Born on this day, November 1945, Vince Martell, guitar and vocals for Vanilla Fudge. 1953 brought us Andy Partridge, singer-songwriter, guitars for Ecstasy. 1969, Gary Powell, drummer for the English rock band The Libertines. And in 1973, American musician Jason White, lead guitarist. He was a touring member of Green Day from 1999 until 2012 and played lead guitar in the majority of the live shows. During late 2012, he became an official member of the band, with Green Day becoming a 4-piece group. And in this day in history, in 1969, the FBI in Phoenix, Arizona, arrested Jim Morrison for drunken disorderly conduct aboard a plane. The Doors singer, who was on his way to a Rolling Stones concert with actor Tim Baker, had been drinking and annoying the stewardesses. The pair spent the night in jail and were released on a $2,500 bail. And in 1986, Pink Floyd issued a press statement stating that they intend to continue using the name without Roger Waters and were recording their next album. And if anybody followed that saga, that was a long ongoing battle over the use of the name. All right, that does it for this day in history. To set the stage for a discussion, we provide informed perspective and commentary on current headlines. If you'd like to offer your thoughts on one of today's topics, you can request to join the stage. I'd also like to say hi to everyone viewing the show on our video live stream on YouTube or directly from the Music Industry City website. To stay up to date on this and other programming, you can sign up at musicindustrycity.com for more news, articles, and events. With that, let's get to it. And this comes from IQ Magazine. Safety Task Force formed after ASTROWORLD tragedy. If you want to follow all the headlines, you can go to musicindustrycity.com. And if you are updated on iPhone, there's a link right at the top here in Clubhouse. Click that link and that'll show you all the headlines that we are referencing. So, announced by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the Texas Task Force on Concert Safety will be led by Texas Music Office Director Brendan Anthony. Roundtable conversations will be undertaken to analyze concert safety and develop ways to enhance security at live music events in the state. According to Abbott, concert goers should not have to worry about their safety or security because they are enjoying live music. To prevent tragedies like the one at the ASTROWORLD Festival, I am forming the Texas Task Force on Concert Safety. Goes on to say, from crowd control strategies to security measures to addressing controlled substances, this task force will develop meaningful solutions that will keep Texans safe while maximizing the joy of live music events. Thank the members of the task force for coming together to work on this important issue. Other members of the group include officials from the Texas Music Office, Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas, Sheriff's Association of Texas, Texas Department of Public Safety, Texas Municipal Police Association, and Texas Police Chiefs Association. And I hope I don't have to say Texas one more time in a sentence. Investigations are ongoing into the Live Nation and Scoremore promoted event at Energy Park on November 5th. 8 people died and hundreds others were injured after a crowd surge during co-founder Travis Scott's headlining set. A 9-year-old boy is also reportedly in a medically induced coma due to injuries sustained, while a 22-year-old student has been declared brain dead. So we're going to see a lot going on. There's still a lot of speculation. There's still a lot of information. This is going to be a long investigation. There is so much information being thrown out there. It's really tough in a sense to make sense of everything that's been discussed, because even the police chief, in one article, a security officer says he was like stabbed in the neck and it was like injected drugs. And then that got circulated around, and then the police chief said, yes, we have this. And then they spoke to the security officer, and he said that didn't happen. He was knocked out unconscious, and he woke up in the tent. It's like there's all this information going on. And then, of course, Twitter comes up with the satanic ritual and all that stuff. So let's just leave Twitter over in Twitter land and not, focus on that. But it's going to be a long investigation, and I think there's already over 40 lawsuits being filed. Well, talking about concerts and everything that has occurred because of this pandemic, and this is from IQ Mag as well, German concert tickets to rise by up to 30%. And we're going to see this not just in Germany. We're going to see this starting across the board. The company Backstage predicts price increases of 15 to 30% for domestic events in the near future. The rise is due to pre-pandemic inflation, post-pandemic inflation, and growing production costs. Axel Balrek, the head of venues group Livecom, says technology companies have raised fees by 20 to 30%, and goes on to say it is expected that concert ticket prices will rise by 15 to 20%. Tickets for Roland Kaiser's postponed 2021 Dresden shows will be exchanged for a voucher and the rescheduled for 67 euros, and the rescheduled events are priced at 84 euros, a 25% increase. So these are some of the challenges with the reschedule. So if you have to get a voucher, you bought the ticket already, but if you have to exchange it for a later date, now you have to pay more. All right, Promoter Semel Concerts blamed the rise on mounting technology and staff shortages, as well as security, ticket organizations, and hygiene regulations. Walreich notes that while many concerts postponed until 2021 would retain their original rates, others will require price rises to offset rising overheads. Owner of Aschenbauer's Colossal Club Klaus Berenger warns that raising ticket prices to make up for lost revenue is completely wrong. The fans won't go along with that either, he says, urging productions to be trimmed to save money. All right, this is touted. This one comes from Vlad TV. Moneyman and Empire post details of first record label advance in Bitcoin. Now, this is something, it's very light on details, but it just comes with a little commentary at the end here. Moneyman and Empire founder Ghazi revealed Tuesday that they've executed the first ever record label advance in Bitcoin. On Instagram, Ghazi posted a screen recording of him sending Moneyman over 14 Bitcoin, which came out to $999,959.22. In a follow-up post, Ghazi and Moneyman celebrated the deal on a private jet where Moneyman claimed they were going crazy this year. Quote, just touch a mill in BTC, me and Ghazi building an empire, Moneyman wrote. Moneyman's deal with Empire arrives ahead of the rapper's Blockchain album, which is scheduled to drop Friday, November 12th. And you can see more on this. The reason I'm bringing this up is it sounds great. And, but for many of these artists, if you get an advance in Bitcoin or any kind of crypto, you are now basically getting stock. You're not getting stock. It is a security, by the way. So therefore, when you cash out, that's going to hit your taxes differently. So just make sure you're aware of that. Also, Bitcoin is volatile. So if you get, let's say, $1 million fiat, so for US dollars, $1 million fiat dollars worth of Bitcoin. So say that was like 14.5 Bitcoin. Well, tomorrow or later today, that could be worth $900,000. It also could be worth $1.1 million. I mean, Bitcoin has been going up. I mean, if anybody invested years ago, there's nothing but up on the trajectory, but that's for the long hold. So just be aware that once you are getting advances in Bitcoin or any kind of crypto, it is basically you're in the stock market with ups and downs every second. And, there's dips, there's valleys, there's, rebounds. So just be careful of knowing what you're getting into. And just also know that when you cash out, you are going to have to pay different taxes on it. So make sure it's worth it for you. All right, let's talk some tech. YouTube is removing the dislike count on all videos across platforms. YouTube today stated that the platform's dislike count on videos will be private. The choice is expected to spark debate given how it affects the public's view of a video's reception. YouTube believes the change will better protect its creators from harassment and reduce the threat of what it calls dislike attacks. Essentially, when a group teams up to drive up the number of dislikes a video receives. The company states that while public dislike counts would be hidden, the dislike button will remain. Users can privately dislike videos by clicking the thumbs down icon. Alternatively, creators can measure their dislikes in YouTube Studio alongside other video metrics. The adjustment comes after a YouTube experiment earlier this year to see if similar modifications would reduce dislike attacks and creator harassment. YouTube said at the time that public dislike counts can harm producers' well-being and encourage targeted dislike campaigns. While this is true, dislikes can also help people identify videos that are clickbait, spam, or deceptive. YouTube said it had heard from smaller creators and newcomers to the platform who felt unfairly targeted by dislike assaults. The testing proved that smaller creators received more dislike assaults than larger producers. There was one design that simply said dislike underneath the thumbs down button instead of the number of dislikes. The company has finally landed on this style, which alters the row of engagement buttons beneath the video. YouTube's new dislike count comes as a national reckoning over big tech and its influence on mental health, particularly among minors. Companies are evaluating how their systems target and influence users and what improvements they may make ahead of new restrictions. Legislators are bringing in tech executives, including YouTube, to testify and create legislation to rein in some of the tech's most harmful components. Regulatory concerns include ad targeting, privacy, algorithmic promotion of misinformation, and more. And going along, we're going to stick along a little more with this mental health and taking a break. And this is Instagram is testing a take a break feature. This is also from The Verge. Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri revealed that the network is testing the long-awaited Take a Break tool to remind users to take a break. To quote Mosseri, it does what you think it does. If you opt in and encourage you to take a break from Instagram after you spend a certain amount of time on the app, 10, 20, or 30 minutes. The feature is, quote, part of a broader effort to try and give people more control over their experience of Instagram. Ultimately, you know what's best for you when it comes how you use the app, and we want to make sure we provide tools for you to shape Instagram into what works for you. Continuing this, Instagram and its parent company Meta, which is previously Facebook, are under increasing investigation after whistleblower France Haugen testified before Congress about the company's internal research showing Instagram can negatively impact young people's mental health. Teenagers said that they felt addicted to Instagram but lacked the self-control to restrict their usage even if they would have wanted to do so. Last month, the corporation's vice president of global affairs, Nick Clegg, told CNN that the company was working on comparable capabilities for teens. When its technologies, quote, see a teenager looking at the same content over and over again, we will nudge them to look at other content. As a business spokesman acknowledged that customers must opt in to utilize the service, but it added that it will, quote, send teens a notification urging them to turn it on. The glimpses of the feature in Mosseri's video, which is there on the article, show the prompt will display in users' feeds but won't take over the entire screen. So in theory, someone could scroll right past it. If they choose turn on, then they'll be prompted to choose what length of time they want to spend on the app before they receive the reminder. The reminder will then pop up in a list of suggestions that say things like, quote, take a few deep breaths, write down what you're thinking, listen to your favorite song, or do something on your to-do list. All right, it seems to be the theme that we are, a lot of these social platforms, it's all, kind of just all today was these announcements being able to block and help protect in privacy. And this one is from Spotify. We got two from Spotify today. This one is Spotify makes it easier to block other users. And again, this is coming in from The Verge. Spotify is rolling out a new tool that makes blocking others on the app easier. Instead of contacting customer services, consumers may now find the feature on their profile. Go to a user's profile, block them, select block from the three-dot menu next to the username and photo and above the public playlist and next to the follow option. That user can no longer access your listening history, website, or public playlists. You can also unblock a user at the same way. And they go on to say, at Spotify, we're committed to delivering the best possible listening experience to our users. Privacy is something that is and always will be enormously important to us, and our block feature, which gives users more control, is the latest step towards that commitment. Users have been begging for a means to block other users for years. It was reported in 2018 by BuzzFeed News that Spotify customers were tracked and harassed by other users who could see their activities on the app. Spotify claimed at the time it was considering adding a block user feature, and now they say the change should be available to users this week. And to wrap up with, Spotify, again, launches new charts destination website. So Spotify launched the new charts website that includes new genre and local charts, in addition to a wealth of data and tools to give artists more opportunities and milestones. Available to all Spotify for artists, creators, and listeners around the world, this new destination allows artists and fans to go deep on all the data and see what music is moving listeners around the world. So some of the new features include genre charts that celebrate the evolution of help fans stay on top of their favorites. Every week, Spotify's charts generate the top 200 songs across 17 genres, categorizing songs based on context from users' playlists and editorial feedback. Artist charts that reflect who is at the top of their game based on streams across the entire catalog. City and local pulse charts. So artists and fans around the world set the soundtrack to their cities, and they tap into the music that is popular among listeners in the over 200 top cities. And then chart data and songwriter credits. Along with the new charts comes new data. Now artists can see chart entry dates, peak positions, and streaks from the expanded view. And promo cards. So they now can celebrate artist successes with brand new shareable promo cards to accompany any chart position on the site that are available to artists and fans. So that if you see a sudden influx of these promo cards on on your socials, this is where it's coming from. So, anything that can, help artists to get more views and listens and more exposure there and help them with analytics, data, and understanding the markets and things like that is always a good thing. That is it for the reads. If you had any thoughts, I can put a few minutes on the clock. If there's anybody that wanted to offer any commentary, want to jump on stage, feel free to raise your hand. If not, we will just wrap up. I just want to also announce that next week, Music Industry City at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. We are having just a hangout. It says networking event, but it's more of a hangout. We just get to meet, chat, and update each other. It's outside of Clubhouse. So if you go to Music Industry City, on the right column, you'll see upcoming events. Make sure to RSVP for that. If you are registered at Music Industry City, you just have to log in and it's like hit the submit button and you're good to go. And we'll all be hanging out. We're going to show you some stuff that we're working on in the metaverse. We also have an event coming up in December, a big talk that's going to be really interesting because we're going to be doing it in the Decentraland. So I see Dennis wants to come up. Let me just pull up Dennis really quick. Where did he go? There you go. All right, Dennis, what is on your mind just as we wrap up?
As someone who lives who suffers from depression and other mental health issues, I think it's a great thing that YouTube is doing something to to help people who may suffer from these by removing that dislike button. But also at the same time, I want to say that part of my treatment, personal ongoing treatment, is the Schadenfreude of hitting someone's dislike button and knowing that they're going to see it. So I'm very conflicted on this news.
Well, the dislike button. So the creator will still be able to see the dislikes. It's not making it public, and they will be able to go into YouTube Studio. So apparently, it's still there. It's just not going to be when you look at the front end. It's going to show show everybody else all the dislikes, but they can still track it. And here's something interesting, though. There's an interesting thing about the YouTube algorithm that if somebody does click the dislike button, it actually helps in the algorithm, because that means somebody's engaging with it. Now, there's not just one algorithm, okay? So there's multiple algorithms on all these platforms, but because somebody's clicking an engagement, now on the other side of that is, they're talking about like people are disliking it because it could be clickbaity. So is it like, piling on? So at that point it won't help, but how does the YouTube algorithm determine what dislike means clickbaity, what dislike is they just don't like what you're talking about? Or it could be a sad or bad news, or it could be something that's like people's like, oh, I don't like this, the thumbs down because you don't like the topic. So it actually helps in a sense that it does show engagement. So the algorithm does it ticks the algorithm a little bit, but and I'm with you on that, because about the people with depression, or it's tough. You're going out there, you're putting all this work in, and then all of a sudden just a plethora of dislike, and you're not really sure why they dislike it. I mean, not everyone. It's easy to hit a dislike button. It takes a little more effort to actually post something in the comments of why. So you're just getting a feedback that I don't like it. And it's really tough because you're trying so hard. I mean, you're just worried about even getting views. I mean, the fact is, it's like you put out something great, and then it's like, oh, I got 5 views on that. I mean, that right there is enough to really, make get you into a depressed state.
Yeah, and my joke about Schadenfreude was just that, a joke. And I will say I'm going back into therapy. And one of the things I was talking about with my new therapist in our first session was that one of the things that I have issues with is that the amount of engagement on some of the posts, like my podcast, the promotion for my podcast and stuff like that, that I suffer from the lack of engagement from other people with it. And it's not because I want to be famous and I need these likes. It's, I know engagement puts my videos and posts in front of more eyes that see it. The more it's shared, the better and more successful that my podcast and my other ventures, whatever we're in general talking about, will be. And so it's hard to have to try to explain that. It's like, look, I'm on social media because it's a necessary aspect of my entertainment life. And when people aren't engaging with that, that just means that I can no longer continue to be as successful as I am, as I once was, or how successful I want to be. And it's a weird place to be in, and it's a huge, hard struggle mentally when you want it. You keep checking these posts, and you're like, all right, I just need people to see these so more people could see it, and it can, more people, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going in circles, but you know what I meant. So
right.
It's that engagement is such a necessary evil that we need. It's the same thing as record sales. Like you can put out a record, and if it's not selling, well, then you're not being successful in your career. It's not that you want the money. I mean, the money's nice, but you need the numbers. It's literally a cause and effect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because you're looking at stream counts and everything, and it's like I put out this album, and I did all this work, and for what makes a song go viral? It's it's tough. Why is this song that I think is great not not registering with people, and then if you're lucky, the song that you don't like does register with people, so you're still getting attention. But it seems like so many times, like an artist will, a musician, be like, "Oh, I did, that was my least favorite song of the album, but that became the most popular, so I'm okay with that." But yeah, I mean, it's really
What's
tough.
that? What
You're breaking
I
up.
was gonna say,
What?
what is that on that subject? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I stepped closer to my phone. That's not gonna help with the Wi-Fi. But I was gonna say that when it comes to the songs that you like and don't like, what's that old quote from the band Fountains of Wayne? Their biggest hit was Stacy's Mom, and the song is longer than it took them to write it.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many of those stories, and extremes more than words. Things like that. They're like, "We hate this song," but that was their number one song. It also caused the most record returns of any album of any all time, because they were a funk metal band that that song was getting played on every radio station, AAA, like everything, soft rock. And so mom and grandma were like, "Oh, this is a beautiful song. I'm gonna go buy the album." And then they turn it on. It's like round, and it's like, and they're like, "What is this? This isn't more than words. This song," and it set a record for the most returns and actually changed contracts after that. And they still hate that song to this day. But yeah, this whole thing that is, we could talk even much more deeper, and we're going to have these kind of talks on specific topics such as this with Music Industry City. Going into the new year, we're going to be rolling out lots of programming, and that's off Clubhouse. So we're going to have a lot of video talks. We're going to have a lot of interviews, a lot of people in the industry, tying this all together to have these year-round conversations, and along with the conference in September. So if you're not already registered at Music Industry City, I could recommend you do. And so to keep on track, on top of what we are doing, rolling out into the new year, is a lot happening. The web community, we have now forums and communities, and there's a lot growing there. So you can post, questions. You can post what you're working on, share things with the community, and it really is becoming this amazing community. We're slowly building it, and that's intentional. We just want you to be part of it. So check out musicindustrycity.com, and that's going to be it for today. Thank you, Dennis, for joining us up on the stage here, and that's going to be it for today on this Thursday from New York. We will see you next week, because we do not do the news on Friday, but instead at 12 p.m. in Clubhouse, we do an artist shout-out room. So we build a playlist, Music Industry City. We build a monthly playlist. So tomorrow we start the November playlist. You get to shout out an artist, and we add it to our playlist. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Peter Schwing. Have a rockin' day.